Am I the asshole for calling my sister's wedding a knockoff of my own? I have always been the favorite among my siblings. As the baby of the family and the only boy, I got doted on a little extra. This extra doting increased when I expressed an interest in dance and actually discovered a talent for it. This makes sense in my mind. My schedule required more time and money devoted to it since I now had to be taken to classes and showcases, needed the proper attire, etc. There were a few years of tension between my sisters and I, especially during our teen years, where it seemed like they blamed me for what was going on or expected me to apologize for our parents' choices, something I adamantly refused to do. Tensions seemed to ease some when we went our separate ways. My sisters stuck around in our hometown to get jobs while I moved to a city about an hour away for college. I met my now husband there, and despite what my parents tried to talk us into, we got married in a tiny ceremony at the local courthouse where only immediate family was present. We had a party with our close friends and family later to celebrate, but the ceremony itself was just like we wanted. A small part of an intimate and peaceful day focused on my partner and I. My oldest sister got engaged a couple months ago, and my parents jumped at the chance to start planning an over-the-top wedding. I've been around for some of it, and a lot of what is being offered to the new happy couple is what was suggested to my husband and I when they were trying to convince us to have a big wedding. This didn't bother me at all. In fact, I was happy my sister was getting what seemed like the wedding of her dreams. Unfortunately, it seems she's still holding a grudge over what happened when we were kids and has made multiple jokes about how she's the favorite now, and that this is payback for all the things she missed out on when I was being chauffeured to dance practice. I took the first few in stride, but it's getting tired now that it's been repeated so many times. I recently told her the jokes were getting old, but that still didn't stop her. I finally had enough last night, and after a few drinks at a little weekend family get-together, I told her that her wedding was essentially a knockoff of mine, and that I doubted our parents would be putting this much effort in had I gone through with the extravagant plans they had wanted me to a few years ago. She left the room in tears, and I've gotten mixed reactions from family over what I said. Am I the asshole? ETA. I have no interest in special attention from my parents and moved on from the feud with my sisters years ago, as I thought they had as well. I live a good distance from them all with a life of my own, and can only make it back to visit a few times a year. This doesn't stem from me craving attention. I'm glad my sister is getting all of it, as my parents have a tend to hover even all these years later. My complaint is in the repeated jokes despite my request that they stop. Yes, you are the asshole, and it sounds like you've been taught their entire lives. You happily soaked up your parents' attention, knowing you were the favorite, and didn't even care that they didn't share your golden child status. Then the second the attention was off of you, you decide to try to attack as low as you can instead of being happy that your siblings actually got to experience some of the rarefied air you've been in your entire life. Your sibling taunts you because you are entitled and spoiled and not very likable as a result. You taunted her because you are mean and resent not being the center of attention. You are the asshole. I couldn't put my finger on why her comments bothered him so much instead of making him at least pity her for being so happy over so little. But you nailed it. He's jealous he's not the star for once. One time he takes a step back, he loses his shit. Yeah, original poster is complaining about how irritating it is, but I'm just sitting here like, this is microscopic compared to what his siblings had to deal with for their entire upbringing? Question mark. Original poster can't handle a few lighthearted jabs about the sibling finally getting attention? OMG, you are insufferable. For just your tone, you are the asshole. It's as if he wrote this in front of a mirror while batting his eyelashes at himself. Definitely getting Narcissus vibes. You are the asshole. I can't imagine weaponizing the poor decisions of my parents against a sibling that was clearly hurt by them. Oh, but he, the person who benefited from the parents' favoritism, has totally moved on from it. Why can't his sisters do the same? I love how he didn't think we'd get that the sisters got jobs while he went to college thing was a blaring siren that only he got a college fund. Oh wow, I didn't notice that. I'm Op's sister effectively. I posted my experience below. I'm used to honing in on their twisted language. You are the asshole. After years of feeling unimportant to your parents, your sister can't control her giddiness at finally having their attention. While her comments are obnoxious, it speaks to a lifetime of being overshadowed by you. While you're not responsible for your parents' shitty behavior, you need to acknowledge it, and acknowledge that you believed you deserved it because dance? Give me a break. The biggest problem is that you still see no problem with it. And the minute your sister is getting their attention, you have shit on it. You're so full of yourself, you have to claim the wedding you didn't have as your own. You're a crappy brother. You are the asshole. Her wedding isn't a knockoff of your wedding considering you got married at a courthouse. I was scrolling for this. Original poster is not only an asshole but also doesn't know what knockoff means. His siblings probably were forced to do his English homework and reading assignments while he danced. You are the asshole. You sound terribly spoiled. And while that is not your fault, you should be old enough by now to know when you are being taught. You've gotten so used to thinking the world revolves around you, that when for once it didn't, you couldn't handle it. Your parents are ta as well, BTW. You are the asshole. You basically rubbed the fact that you've been the favorite in her face when she's planning the happiest day of her life. You owe her a huge apology. You are the asshole. She was slighted during her entire childhood, and the one time she got to get the attention, you told her that it was just because you didn't accept it first. You seem rotten all the way through. I'm fixated on the way he's so sure that his sister is only getting a big wedding because he didn't want one. Like it's so normal for him to get everything and his sisters to get whatever scraps are left over that he's certain that if he had a fancy wedding his parents wouldn't bother with their daughters at all. He accepts that as absolute fact, and it may well be, but it's such a mundane bit of truth to him that he can't see what's wrong with it. Unfortunately, his sister recognized it to be true, or she wouldn't have been so hurt by it. Those parents must be truly awful. Why do people do asshole things and then come on here and wonder if they're an asshole? You are the asshole. Because true assholes honestly can't see it, or they revel in their assholery and can't resist the urge to brag. Either way, original poster is you are the asshole. You are the asshole. It's not a knockoff, it's a completely different wedding. Your parents are, I'm assuming, offering what they can give, different venues, decoration, photographers, wedding stuff at their price range. I hope the sister's wedding ends up being fabulous AF. I hope she looks amazing and that every guest talks for weeks of how incredibly beautiful the wedding was. Also, hope original poster is uninvited because they will likely try to F up their sister's big day even worse. Not enough information. Have you ever talked to your sisters and tried to resolve the hurt feelings from when you were kids? You say you moved on from the feud by discussing it with them and agreeing to bury the hatchet, or by you simply pretending it never happened and deciding it should no longer affect anybody? You are the asshole. Clearly you have held on to being the favorite and it showed fully as soon as you were aggravated or made uncomfortable. An adult would have said, hey, knock it off, even if you had tried that already, not gone for, well I am the favorite and could have had all this if I wanted it, insert raspberry sound. You are an adult, act like one. You told her to stop once, it happened again, so you address it more firmly. Hey, I asked you to stop these comments, it hurts my feelings and makes me think you are still mad about what happened when we were younger. I thought we had worked through that, and if you have feelings about it, can we talk about it instead of you making digs? Instead, you went full nuclear. I can't even go with ESH here, because you write like you should have been the favorite, and clearly you still hold dearly to needing to be the favorite by making it clear to all of us, not just your sisters, that you are the justified favorite and have no responsibility for anything. So my guess is the vibe you give off at these family gatherings is the same vibe you give off here, pretentious and not okay with not being the center of the universe. They haven't worked through it because original poster believes the parents were justified in favoring him because he had rhythm. Rhythm and a penis. Which I may call my next band. Tallywhacker and the Wonky Rhythms would immediately get my money to see them play. Let's rewrite your post pretending to be your sister. When I was a kid, my brother was the golden child. He was the only boy, and my parents gave him everything. My sisters and I didn't matter. All our parents' time, money and energy went to his dance training. We got the leftovers. So it didn't matter if we had talents we could develop. It didn't really matter if we accomplished anything. And we pretty much raised ourselves. And it was really painful to watch him get everything while we just wanted to be loved. Now I am engaged, and because my brother opted out of a big wedding, suddenly I'm the center of my parents' attention. And the shitty thing is that it isn't even about what my fiancé and I want. It's about my parents showing off. It's like I'm finally getting some time with my parents, which I totally wanted as a kid, but I feel more stressed out and alone than ever. So, of course my brother is around and it's weird to have stuff not be about him. And I keep taking shots at him. I know I shouldn't, but he's just lapped all our parents' attention up for 20 years and I just get so angry. Am I the asshole? My vote is, everyone sucks here. You need to recognize that your parents fucked all of you over. She should not be taking pot shots at you, but you are not helping. And you all need therapy. Jesus Christ. Huge, you are the asshole. The fact that you feel the need to throw it in anyone's face that you were the favorite for all those years just shows how immature and how much a selfish DH you are. Not enough information. Did your sisters choose to work and not go to college, or they were not presented with the choice and you were the only one allowed to go to college? You are the asshole and sounds like you have been since childhood. You are the asshole. That was a hideous comment to make under any circumstance. You sister gets to feel special sometimes, too. Jokes are jokes. Unless she was being exceptionally nasty, which you didn't mention, it sounds like you're just jealous she's feeling good for once. And really even then, this is a super petty thing for you to do. You are the asshole. You had a tiny courthouse ceremony. How is it a knockoff of yours at all? It's in the sense that it's the wedding his parents planned for him and now she is getting the exact same thing that he would have and not something special just meant for her. You are the asshole. Your parents favored you your entire life, and while that is not your fault, it is going to impact your relationship with your sisters. You are probably correct that your parents would have given her less if you had accepted the big wedding. Rubbing that in her face makes you as big of an asshole as your parents for it being true. Also, her wedding is not a knockoff because you didn't have the big wedding. You are the asshole and you sound insufferable.